If you make at least $1 million per year and have 10% body fat or less, you are in the top 0.003% of all men on planet Earth. This is something I've been able to accomplish by generating over $115 million in sales, all while having below 10% body fat. And to be honest, it's extremely straightforward if you're just willing to put in a little bit of hard work. If you're not willing to do that, just click off because you're one out of the 99.997% of men who will never hit this level. But for the few outliers who want to be more and become more, I'm going to delve into exactly how to do it. So first off, to become a man who makes $1 million a year and has below 10% body fat, we have to break this down to two categories, which is fitness. All right, so we'll do fitness over here, and business. We'll do business on this side. The good news for you is even a dumbass can be lean, right? Business is definitely, harder. It takes more skill than fitness. So let's go from easy to hard. So on the fitness side, to be under 10% body fat, right? Because that's the goal, to hit this metric. The things you need is about 12 hours a week, right? You need about 12 hours a week to work out unless you want to be skin and bones and rush every day. I would say at least 2 hours, right? Because if you're going in the gym and you don't have 2 hours and you can't text, you can't do anything, and that's fine. But I would say 12 hours is about good enough, because if you're gonna do a little bit of cardio, and we're gonna get into that in a second, okay? The next thing is you're gonna have to avoid food or fast, okay? So I like to fast, today I'm actually fasting, I've had an entire day. I like to fast usually 1 to 2 days a week, but in short, it doesn't really matter if you're fasting or not, it's just you have to be in a caloric deficit, right? You have to eat less than your body needs so you can burn that fuel as fat and you'll have as much muscle as humanly possible. The next thing is gonna be progressive overload. If you wanna look good, right? So over time, you have to lift more weight so you have more muscle, okay? After that, we're gonna have to do cardio. So let's say 30 minutes a day of cardio. I think that's just to be healthy. It's good in general. And when you do some cardio and you burn some calories, it will allow you to not be perfect on your diet. It's already hard enough to stay lean without doing any cardio. So in my opinion, you're definitely gonna need that. Then it's gonna need to be some healthy food. So we'll just say H food. So healthy food. So overall, most of the food will have to be whole foods. You're gonna have to, cook it, or someone's gonna have to bring it to you, etc. And then you're gonna have to have some consistency. My routine, just so you guys know, is I wake up every single day, usually around 4:30 or 5 a.m. I'll go straight to the gym. I do a push-pull leg split. I tried full body, but I just don't feel like that's as good because it takes a long time to warm up your different muscle groups. So I'll do legs, heavy Monday. Tuesday, I'll do chest, or push day, heavy. Wednesday, I'll do pull day, heavy. And then I will go back to legs, chest, push day and pull day. And I'll do 6 reps or less, heavy. So the weight is so heavy, I can only do 6 reps or less. And then I will go to around 10 to 12 reps on the quote unquote lighter days. And that's where I feel to get the most bang for my buck, because inadvertently, the stronger you are, you can push more weight on the higher rep days, which is more for hypertrophy, and vice versa. So I think those work really, really well together. This is all it really takes to do well in fitness. The biggest thing for most of you is you guys simply just can't stop eating food. That's the biggest thing. You just cannot stop eating food. You have to learn to fill your time with other things besides food. What you're gonna find over time is your body just does not need that much food to actually function and to stay alive. And so we are just conditioned when we're bored, and because it's so easy to access food, and because a lot of the food is made to just, be full of sugar and all this other stuff, we just delve into it way too much. You don't need that much food. And so for most of you, you're gonna have to learn how to fill your time and stay busy, which is gonna come down to the business part I'm gonna go into in a second. Because if you're building your business and you're actually trying to push, you won't have that much time to sit around and just fill your face with snacks and Cokes and food and all this other type of stuff. So if we want to now become a man who makes $1 million plus a year, we got to break this down. Okay, now there's a million ways to make $1 million plus a year. I'm gonna show you the fastest way. So first is we need to know how much we need to make per day. So we need $2,740 per day if you're rounding up, okay? So that's what we need to start with. Now, the easiest way to do this, in my opinion, is you start with something in the health, wealth, or relationship niche. Why? Because there's billions of people on planet Earth who want better health, more wealth, or better relationships. And they'll pay anything to anyone if they believe you can actually get them that. So pick the one you have a skill in. If you don't have a skill, go to allison.com, learn a skill, and start selling it, okay? There's just no excuse not to have a skill. You probably have a skill in one of these areas around making money, helping people get in shape, better relationships. It could be dating, divorce, whatever. But if you don't, go to allison.com and learn a skill, okay? Now, once you have that, you're gonna start messaging your followers, okay? I don't care how many followers you have. I don't care if you have 15, I don't care if you have 100, 200, that's all you're gonna do. So let's say you're doing 100 DMs a day. Usually that's about 20 an hour. Out of that, you'll usually get 30% reply. Okay, out of that, you'll usually get 6 calls. And out of that, you'll usually get 1 close. These are people who are actually following you, okay? Now, some of you are gonna say, well, Tanner, I don't have any followers. I can't possibly do that. So this is what you're gonna do if you don't have any followers. You're gonna do the same routine. You'll do 100 DMs. It'll take you a little bit more time, right? You're gonna get 10% who reply. You're then gonna get 2 calls maybe, and then you'll get 1 close. Now, you may not close after 2 calls. You may need 6 calls, which means you will just have to do more output. You might have to do 3 times the output with cold DMs because these are absolute strangers. They don't even follow you. Then you might have to do with warm DMs, okay? But again, this is not easy. It's very straightforward. Like, you guys are gonna know by the end of this video exactly what it takes to have less than 10% body fat and make at least $1 million a year, okay? So now that we've made a couple sales, and sell your service for at least $1,500 is where I would recommend. So let's say you made 3 sales. So now you have $4,500. Now we can actually start doing what's called boosted posts, okay? So on Instagram is my favorite place to do this. If you're gonna do a boosted post, usually what you're looking for is 10 to 20 cents per profile view. So we'll just call it PV, or $1 to $2 per follower, okay? The reason you're shooting for that is that's what's actually gonna make sense to sell your high ticket service. So let me give you an example. An example would be, let's say you spend $1,000. Okay, so you get a follower for every $1 to $2, so you get 500 followers, all right? We're gonna use the stats we used before, 30% respond, so 150 people respond. 10% book a call, so 15, and you're not very good at closing, so you close 3, okay? So 15 calls, you close 3. So again, that is, let's say you're selling a $1,500 service, $4,500 minus 1,000, you make $3,500 of profit, okay? And then you actually want to rinse and repeat that to your desired level of income. So again, because we only have to make 2,700, what was the number I gave you guys? 2,000, it's like 2,800 bucks a day, give or take. You only have to make 2 sales a day at that price point, or you could raise your price point, double it, and you only have to make 1 sale a day. This is actually how I became a multimillionaire. Now, as you get to that level and you can make yourself more uncomfortable and take more risks, you can actually make way more than $1 million a year. But this is one of the easiest ways to do it, and you just rinse and repeat it, and that's it. Doing uncommon things isn't really that hard, to be quite honest. It just means you can't do common things like every other human being. So people might think you're weird, but to be honest, like, that's exactly why you are where you are, is because you do quote unquote weird things. So to me, being in shape and making money isn't hard. I just make different choices than other people. So make the choice and stop being a fat pussy.